All right. So, welcome back. It's been about 2 weeks for you guys and
like
about 5 minutes for you.
We have readjusted. We went to the bathroom.
Got ourselves all settled in.
Yeah.
Again. I think I need this book again. Seriously though, if you want to borrow this, it's fantastic. There's so much detail in this book. I love it.
Okay.
As you can see by all my tabs.
I can see all of the tabs. Show them the tabs.
You hear that? It's amazing. Oh, and then there's these. Hey, my doodle dandies. This is Kelsey.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're That's So Macaroni.
Yeah.
As just a quick recap for everyone except for you.
What? I want to be included.
Okay, Sarah, I know that you have the memory of a goldfish. So, long, long ago, in a time before time, aka the 1600s, we, as a country, had said, no sodomy. Butt stuff makes us feel uncomfortable because it gives us feelings. And
you can fuck
sex
an animal,
is only for procreation. Maybe you can fuck an animal, but not in the butt.
Not in the butt, yeah.
But I also did not look too far into that because I was like, ew, you know what? That does make me uncomfortable.
That would put you on a rabbit hole. I think your like FBI agent that monitors your shit would be like, uh-oh.
They're already very confused. So like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Okay, so no butt stuff. Sex is for babies only. And then the 1920s come around and they're like, actually, we have a lot of disposable income and we're in different places now. So we're going to go ahead and do whatever we want to with whomever we want to. And
drink all of the illegal alcohol.
And drink all the illegal alcohol and listen to jazz. So get bent. The military is like, hey, there's a lot of people with shell shock. We should probably try to rule out people who might be susceptible to shell shock before they become our problem. And they go, okay, cool. We can help you with that. Sullivan and Overholser are like, we can do that. And they're like, the military is like, shouldn't it include gay people? And they're like, no. And they're like, well, we're going to make it include gay people, except for sometimes, because right now we kind of need anybody. The torpedo officer and his amazing hairnet, the drag performer who got a letter of commendation and performed like on the front for entertainment relief for soldiers. They're like, woohoo! And then there's always the other side of that because it can't be all rainbows and sunshine all the time.
I wish it was.
Me too.
I like rainbows.
Me too.
My hair was a rainbow once.
Yeah, I loved it. I had a rainbow.
You do have a rainbow.
Oh my God. It's a rainbow. And funny enough, we started doing videos for our hair person.
Oh yeah.
That's
they were like YouTube.
And we said,
were like,
for
okay.
Sake, okay. But I think
this is like free advertisement for them.
I was gonna say though, I bet that they just wanted us to do that so we could show off our hair. And people would be like, where do you go? And we'll have to be like, totally.
Listen.
Oh, we go to Joe. And yeah, and people are like, we need Joe. And then Joe is now like hairstylist to the stars.
That was their plan all along.
Don't leave us. Okay, so now we get to what I had said was the queer stockades. If you remember that. So that's where we left off, was that I was going to tell you something really bad and then we cut.
See, my brain goes to stockades. You know what I'm talking about? That's a stockade, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this.
Yeah, with the head and armholes.
Yeah, and then you could like throw tomatoes at them.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanted to. So, anyways, they are just as bad as you think they are.
Okay.
They were interrogated about their sex lives. Sometimes they would do like a good cop, bad cop routine to get GIs to name other men, gay men that they knew. One GI reported that the judge advocate had said that he would stick him with criminal charges if he didn't cooperate. They took a break from interrogating and the lieutenant was like, puts his arm around him and is like, hey man, I think it's for the good of the service if you just get out. And he's like, really? Like, I mean, I guess if you think that's for the best, like, I don't want to hurt my country because he's a patriotic man. And he's like, oh, I don't want to do anything that would harm my country. I guess I guess so. And the GI was assured that if he told them who he had been with, that nothing would happen to those men. And he goes, okay.
Who said this? Who was doing this?
This was a good cop, bad cop routine. So the lieutenant was like, don't worry. You
No.
tell us who you've been with and nothing bad will happen to them.
No.
And he was like, okay, promise. And they're like, we promise.
No.
Fingers are crossed behind their back.
That's
and then this is the worst part. So the judge advocate, so he tells them and he says, these are the guys. And the judge advocate goes, for Christ's sake, I didn't think he'd break. And those men were obviously rounded up, interrogated, and discharged.
Right.
But like, it was just so heartbreaking because he was like, I didn't want to hurt anybody. He thought that he was doing something that would like help his country. And sometimes they just asked increasingly violating questions.
Sounds about right.
So one WAC or Women Air or Army Corps woman, they would just call them WACs. And I haven't talked a lot about them because, like I said, women were generally allowed to be more affectionate towards each other. So it was a little bit harder to tell and they just didn't really fucking care as much. She was interrogated. She was asked to describe when her and her partner made love, if they touched each other's genitals, and how she was given pleasure by her partner.
These were just horny men.
Well, and women. Yeah. Once they started asking these sexual questions, they brought in a woman to help interrogate.
Okay.
So yeah, they're just like increasingly just violating questions. And she was also tricked into naming other people because that's what they did. In both these cases, the person was told that it was for the good of the service if they confessed and removed themselves and others from the service, despite clear evidence of the opposite in combat and scientific studies. From evidence obtained by psychiatrists in wartime research, they came to believe that gay men and women were neither rarities, criminals, nor military threats. And in gay stockades, they were also subjected to public humiliation. Some of the interrogations took place when the suspect was naked and standing on a block in front of a panel of colonels and majors. So they would ask him these horrible questions while he's standing there completely naked. They were locked up, often in isolation, and only allowed out to do a work detail if they were allowed out at all. The men would be separated from other inmates no matter what. They had like the gay block.
This is just going to be my face for the rest of.
I think that's appropriate. I understand. So they would be separated no matter what from other prisoners. They used to have to wear a yellow D on their person for degenerate.
Oh, I was
for dick lover.
Is it D for dick?
This man likes dick. Yes.
Oh my god. Hold on. ADHD moment. Did I take my meds?
No.
No, I did not.
They have to wear they used to have to wear a yellow D to identify them as different. They were separated. Jesus Christ, I will get through this. And then sometimes they're further isolated into solitary confinement cells. If there wasn't a way to have individual cells, they would be forced to have the lights on and 24-hour guards so that you couldn't sleep in, like, there was no dark time.
Why?
To make sure that you weren't going to do anything, no funny business with your fellow inmates.
Still do shit with the lights on.
That's actually called like psychological torture.
It is.
It's against the Geneva Convention. Like this is inappropriate.
But also, the lights on isn't going to stop me from doing stuff if I really want to.
They will stop you sometimes. Oh God, there's so much. Keep your disgusted face on. They would also, in these gay stockades, sometimes be physically and sexually abused.
Isn't that? Hold on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. One man remembers he was shoved on a truck with other inmates and 2 Marines jumped on to guard them, aiming their guns at them the whole time. When they arrived to their destination, a lieutenant there asked why they didn't just, quote, shoot the motherfuckers. Why didn't you just kill them? Then there are 2 stories that are exactly alike. One is stateside and one was in the Pacific. These 2 men share that guards would come by, take some of the inmates out to get blowjobs from them, and share them with friends. Then they would throw these poor men back in the cells and continue to guard them. I'll wait for you to process that.
Okay.
super fucked up.
I really wish this... Hold on.
Oh my God, what?
Hold on.
I'm so scared. What are you doing? I guess I'll just wait. I don't know what about this story sparked some sort of memory for her, and I'm a little bit concerned about what she's going to come back out with. What are you doing?
If you're going to make me listen to upsetting things...
Oh my God. Thank you. No, dude, I was telling the camera while you were gone, I was like, I don't know what about this disgusting story made her like run away, like to go get something, but I'm afraid to see what she comes back with. Yes.
It's only 11:30.
I have to clean my house today.
This will help you.
Yeah. Pum, 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 pum.
Okay, disgusting men shit. Got it.
Okay. Approximately 10,000 service members were put into these career stockades, and the majority of them were men. I don't talk a lot about women because a lot of these things happen to men. So I just want to, like, were lesbian and trans people, like, also targeted?
Yes.
Yes. But a lot of this happened to men. So that's kind of why they are such
because, I mean, like,
focal
that's, like, the stigma is, like, gay is gross if it's men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, like, if it's two women making out on the street.
Yeah, it's very...
misogynistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah. Now do you see why I ran into the other room? Not an ad, but...
But delicious red apple cider for adults is delicious.
It helps,
I'm sorry, I just made a really gross slurpy noise. Okay.
Okay, continue.
Sorry. Surprisingly, the psychiatric hospitals were not as bad treatment-wise. Most people were allowed regular freedoms. They could go off the grounds. They were even able to get together for sexy time. There were locked wards where they weren't allowed to leave and were actually locked up sometimes with, like, disturbed patients or prisoners of war. In the prison of war, they said we're not that bad. They hung out with Germans and Italians and they were like,
yeah, because they're all, like, in there together now trying to survive. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think part of what made it a little bit easier was that psychiatrists were generally there to be helpful. That doesn't mean that they always were, but their goal was to be helpful. I
can also imagine too, like this being during World War II, like the mental experiments, like research that's also being done.
Yeah, they're exploring this, and I think that a lot of it, like, although it's sometimes misguided and wrong, what they're trying to do is, like, scientific research. And actually what comes out of this is a lot of the psychiatrists were like, yeah, we did a bunch of research, and turns out that they're perfectly fucking normal, and you should stop treating them like shit. So, like, it is what comes out of this. They're like, is actually good. They're like, are you guys sexual psychopaths? We're like, what? Fuck you. No. And they're like, oh, well, we've learned something. Take notes.
Yeah.
So I think that that's part of what made this not so bad. Whereas their gay stockades were, like, punitive.
Right.
And
it's
gross.
Like literally the stockades were, like, meant to shame and torture, essentially.
Yeah. So, at the beginning of all this, doctors didn't want homosexuality to be included in the elimination criteria for the military. Many said, like, hey, at worst, gay people are just sick, but they're not, like, contagious or bad or different. They just have a mental disease, which is not right, but it's also, they're developing. Okay? Yeah. They're growing. So, at least they weren't threatening to shoot them and humiliating them. They cared for their mental well-being, whereas the queer stockades did not.
Right.
So what to do with these men and women when they are done with their stay in either prison or hospital? What did they do with them when they didn't want to go through the hassle of sending them to either place? Well, the military came up with a new discharge for them called a blue discharge or a administrative discharge. Blue discharge feels like something you shouldn't Google, and I don't know if this is just because this is my Google now, but it's like, do you mean from the military? And I'm like, oh, we're not going to come up with anything gross. It kind of does, but luckily it's not the forefront.
Is it the
The blue waffle?
The blue waffle, yeah.
Don't Google that either.
Millennial trauma shit. All right.
So, blue discharges are a type of administrative discharge. They came from Section 8 of Army Regulation 615-360, which permitted the discharge of men with undesirable habits or traits of character. Enlisted men called the nickname these discharges as blue discharges or blue tickets because they were printed on blue paper.
Oh.
Not necessarily creative, but...
Also, sidebar, if anyone does have blue discharge, please go see a medical professional.
Go to the doctor. If you're wondering if that's normal, no, it's not.
It is not. All right, continue.
Oh yeah, I did. Okay, I don't know if I said it or not because I just, like I said, rambled. Psychiatrists called homosexuals sexual psychopaths.
Right. Yeah, you said that last time. Or this time? I don't remember. You said it.
I said it. A sexual psychopath was a category of criminals roughly defined as male sex offenders who had little to no control over their sexual impulses. A psychopath lacks empathy, has shallow emotions, and exhibits impulsive manipulative behaviors. None of this is universally true for LGBTQ folks, but it came around because of the previous understanding of sodomy and bullshit about it being against nature. Like, could gay people fit this? Sure. Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, we have seen it happen. However, it is not a defining characteristic if you are part of the alphabet militia. Yeah. Yeah. You should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Listen, I'm bringing the 70s back, bitch.
I'm dancing to a song in my head. Sorry. Okay. Quote, based on the belief that homosexuality was a mental illness, it provided for discharge without trial of homosexual personnel, while allowing the retention of those whose service was deemed essential. The discharge system, ironically, greatly expanded the military's anti-homosexual apparatus, end quote. Okay, so because military officials were able to connect homosexuality to a psychopathy, it was easy for them to dismiss queer servicemen and women without court-martial and without giving them an honorable discharge whenever it suited them.
Okay.
So there's a lot of problems with classifying gay people because sometimes it would be in their best interest of whatever branch of the military to keep a gay person. So they would have to kind of rate them on which was worst to best and who can be saved. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go through all of them. If you're interested, Coming Out Under Fire by Alan Berube, he goes into great detail about all of it.
Saved.
Yeah. Which is a great movie, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of queer people being saved, Saved is a great movie.
Mary, I'm on a Vespa. And I'm adorable. Sorry.
Okay, there are two that I want to mention because I find they are opposite ends of the spectrum and I find them interesting. So, the first is the casual homosexual, the one who's only gay on weekends and at social gatherings.
It's kind of like, you know, how you only have a cigarette when you're drinking.
That's exactly what I thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I only drink at parties. I only drink at just on the weekends.
I'm only gay on the weekends.
Yes. So seriously though, it was a straight man who had like a little tryst.
Okay.
He just had like a little fling.
So he's bisexual.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Or maybe he was just like, am I? And he tried it and he goes, not for me. But either way, he's casual. He's casually gay.
All right. Got it. Okay.
And then there's the opposite end, which is the criminal sodomist category. And this is anyone who has forced his same-sex partner into sexual acts or had sex with a minor. Like, that's just always a fucking crime.
A sex with
a minor. Yeah.
What does that have? Are they lumping pedophiles in with homosexuals?
Yes.
Gross. I hate it here. Okay.
Which is another huge problem, which I feel bad because I feel like I'm like glossing over some things, but like, it's not intentional. It's just like, the last section was already an hour and a half, and I didn't even dig deep into shit. You know what I mean?
And this is like specifically for like Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like excluding, you know, people of color or anything like that just to be dicks. We're just like, it is Pride Month, and we would like to make people more aware of like Pride history.
Right. And I really wanted to cover a really broad expanse of time, so I'm really doing my best. Like I said last episode, if there's something that you're like, what? Tell me more about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to do that. It's just not this episode. So,
yeah,
criminal sodomists, which is actually just a fucking criminal. Like,
a rapist.
yeah, it's just a rapist.
Yeah.
But they lump them all in together. So, all in all, this discharge system is more harmful to queer service folk because instead of having to be caught engaging in a sex act, simply being queer was enough.
Okay.
Quote, ironically, the very fact that psychiatrists fought so hard to bring about a more humane military system for handling homosexuals only added to the notion that gay men and women belonged within the domain of abnormal psychiatry.
Okay.
So because psychiatrists were like, hey, they're not criminals. It's what they are is like different, like they have a different sort of like the way their brain works is different. And the military was like, so you mean they're all psychopaths? And psychiatrists are like, we're not saying that. They're like, well, they have to be abnormal. This brain belongs to somebody named Abby Normal. You've seen Young Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I can love that movie. I don't know, someone named Abby Normal. An abnormal brain. Anyways, this was not only used for queer service members, it was also disproportionately used as a way to discharge black soldiers. Quote, of the 48,603 blue discharges issued by the Army between December 1st, 1941 and June 30th, 1945, 10,806 were issued to African Americans, or about 22% of all blue discharges, where African Americans constituted only 6.5% of the military at the time. So
you're discharging like all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I go into this. Yes. Okay, I do. I want to tell, because it's really important to know why blue discharges and administrative discharges are such BS. So there was such an outcry that the military stopped issuing blue discharges in 1947 and started calling them other than honorable. They still held all the same consequences, but they called them other than honorable discharges as opposed to, I don't know.
A dishonorable discharge?
So it is an in-between. The blue discharge and other than honorable, they basically just change the fucking name. It doesn't change anything. So an honorable discharge is like, thank you for your service, have a good time, you have VA benefits. A dishonorable is like, hey, you're a fucking dick and we hate you, go away. And then they're like, well, what do we do about the people in between? Well, we'll call them other than honorable, which just means that a lot of times it was like you have an undesirable characteristic or trait about you that the military was like, ew, we poo-poo it. Which also is really hard to get a job. I'll go into it. Okay, so
it's very well, I guess that makes sense though, because this is World War II. Yeah. I was gonna say that's very eugenics of the military, picking and choosing. And I would love to do an episode on eugenics. Did you ever read the paper I wrote in college?
In college I did, which was forever and ever ago. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
you had me proofread it for you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. You're welcome. Got an A on it, so yeah, it's very picky choosy.
Always is.
Yeah, which makes sense for World War II because the eugenics of it all. Okay, yeah, got it.
In 1947, President Truman passed an executive order to establish a loyalty program for federal employees and anyone, quote, seen as displaying immoral or disgraceful conduct was a target. But when I hear like loyalty program, I think punch card. Punch card. Like, are you part of our loyalty program?
Oh,
you get points. And so like, I would be super excited at first. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I am so loyal. Hardly a sick day, always on time. I'm going to get a free coffee. And then I'd go in there and then realize that Mike from the Treasury Department was laid off because he has a boyfriend. And I'd be like, what? No coffee and no Mike?
Mike was the best part.
Mike always made the best coffee. And anyway, so yeah, I'd be super disappointed.
He put just like a little bit of cinnamon in it and it was just perfect. Yeah.
So thoughtful. Yeah, so when I hear loyalty program, that's not what I think.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Here we go. This is where I wrote it. So the stigma around blue discharges also stuck around and plagued these veterans in their civilian lives. One of the more directly vindictive punishments was that these veterans were denied their GI benefits.
Ooh, gross. Okay.
Yep. They would have no health benefits, no unemployment assistance, job assistance, housing assistance, or educational stipends. Nothing. And it even kind of went like worse after that. So jobs after the war, I had said last time about queer people's draft papers being available. Well, so were their discharges. You had to make that like it's like when you apply for a job and they say, were you a veteran? Why were you discharged?
Mm-hmm.
They get to see that. So they would see these discharge papers saying that this person was an undesirable, and it's a huge stain when you're looking for a job. So not to mention that, but like civilian life is also getting super hostile with McCarthyism and the Lavender Scare.
Yeah.
The 1950s. Very briefly, McCarthyism was a part of an overarching fear of communism known as the Cold War and the Red Scare.
The Red Scare.
It reached the height of its insanity between 1950 and 1954 when Senator Joe McCarthy of Wisconsin launched a series of highly publicized probes into the quote-unquote communist penetration of government departments. They're really obsessed with penetrating.
But it's not gay, though.
Not in a gay way, though.
Not in a gay way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penetrating, but not gay. Anyways, people everywhere were just trying to do the regular American thing. They would just like bebop around and wear their poodle skirts, and they are normal. So as to not be called communist by their neighbors. And people were absolutely turning on each other, being like, they're communists, they're gay. So part of the Red Scare is what's called the Lavender Scare, in which being queer was, again, and always dangerous and demonized. The Lavender Scare started in the late 1940s for a couple reasons. One was Alfred Kinsey. He was a really famous sexologist. Lots of really good insight because he and his wife actually studied sexual behaviors of humans.
Oh, cool. Okay.
He posted on his Facebook. He posted
in 1940. What did you say?
48. He published a written book called "The Sexual Behavior of the Human Male." It became a bestseller, and it drew attention for its claim that same-sex experiences were relatively common and normal. Also, the science speak of it the connection to psychopathy, like paired together. So last time I mentioned, now we're like, science, yes. And now it's homosexuality. It's part of a psychopathy. So they kind of like partner that.
Yeah.
But the nation is just coming out of a lot of like horrific sex crimes. Think Albert Fish.
Oh
and he was a sexual psychopath.
Yes, he was. He was in Germany.
No, he was here.
He was here. He
New
was
York,
German, but he was here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that connection is made in the mind because if you're calling them both sexual psychopaths.
Mm-hmm.
So they connect people like Albert Fish.
Yeah, who is an actual criminal murderer, psychopath.
Yeah. Murderer.
With homosexuality.
Just homosexuals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you put them in the same category and people then relate them together. Yeah, exactly. So that's inevitable. And that's just how the human brain works. You call them the same thing, you assume it's the same fucking thing. A top intelligence officer had reportedly told McCarthy that, quote, practically every active communist is twisted mentally or physically in some way. McCarthy implied that gay men were also susceptible to communist recruitment because as homosexuals, they had what he called particular mental twists. So gay people are more
prone to be
communist because they're all twisty in the brain. Just over a week later after that, Deputy Undersecretary of State John Purifoy, testifying before a subcommittee of the Senate, of the Senate Committee of Appropriations, revealed that the State Department had ousted 91 homosexual employees as security risks.
Sure.
Because their mental twisties are the same as a communist mental twisty.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Sure. I'm just going to say, sure. Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, friend.
All right.
Okay, 1951, the Uniform Code of Military Justice was created, and it codified the ban on homosexuality in the armed forces, stating, quote, unnatural carnal copulation with another person of the same or opposite sex was an offense that could merit court-martial. It was almost exclusively used against gays and lesbians. So,
right.
Unnatural being things that don't produce babies.
So no butt stuff.
No butt stuff.
Hear that? No butt stuff.
Or mouth stuff.
No What about ear stuff?
We didn't think we were going to have to tell you not to do that, but please don't. Okay, then comes Executive Order 10450. 10450, which is annoying. Signed in April 1953, which prohibits federal employees from being members of a group that considers subversive and evidently being gay is a security risk. So if you are gay, you are more likely to just leak secrets.
I mean, gays have the best tea. Let's be real here.
I mean, I remember growing up with a queer sibling, and they also couldn't keep their fucking mouth shut. If they're saying this, sorry, not sorry.
I mean, not to like throw stereotypes out there.
Mark, just saying.
I mean, like, let's be real here. This man right here would tell his entire life story within first 5 minutes of meeting somebody. So,
but I don't think that he wouldn't give away like state secrets. Like,
yes,
there's also like discretion. I felt when we were growing up, I felt like my state secrets were being given away because I was doing a lot of criminal activity. Just kidding. Statute of limitations. It's fine. So, around this time, 1953, the Forgotten War. Do you know what war was happening in the 50s?
Cold War? No, that was
cool. I'm super excited for the sidebar. So, Cold War is an overarching thing.
Was the 60s. It was like a nuclear.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
The 50s to the 90s when the fall of the Soviet Union. It was basically like democracy, capitalism against communism. But then we didn't directly fight with the USSR, but we had a lot of proxy wars. Which proxy war was happening in the 1950s?
Korea.
Boom! Hell yeah. Yes.
I didn't know there was going to be a quiz, but I was like, whew.
Technically, there's not. I just get excited. So.
I had to think really hard. I was like, wait, hold on.
It's because
Vietnam was the 60s and 70s. So I was like, which war it was? I was like going through all of them in my head.
Korea.
Yep. Korea.
So for this part, I borrowed a book from our library that is called Ask and Tell by Steve Estes. And it has interviews with veterans of wars from the Korean War through like the Afghan and Iraqi conflict. He gives like a little bit of detail. What?
That was weird.
What?
I like nodded my head in agreement with you, and then like a fucking thumbs down popped up on the screen. I'm gonna do it again. No.
Don't hurt yourself.
What the fuck? Okay, sorry. That just
rude.
Tripped me up. I was like, why is there a thumbs down? Okay.
That's mean.
If I do this, will a hello? Oh, sorry.
Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, interview. Some of the details from here on out will be firsthand accounts from these people, like from the interviews.
Okay.
So, Vietnam War. Once on the ground.
Vietnam?
Nope. Korea. Thank you. The Korean War. Once on the ground, men seemed to care less about who a guy was fucking so long as he didn't get him killed.
Okay.
Do your job. Thank you. And if someone can do the job well, especially in a high stress environment like war, a lot of the other stuff kind of just like fades in the background.
Yeah.
Additionally, at this point, GIs still think that you can't get an STI from gay sex because literally no one told them they could. And this is before the AIDS epidemic. So I think, like I said last time, to avoid STIs, heterosexual identifying soldiers would have sex with their queer comrades to blow off steam.
Isn't that crazy though? Because most men are carriers of STIs and they show no symptoms whatsoever.
That is correct.
That's fucking bananas.
But because the only thing that they were being shown was that if like
it's a venereal disease.
They're saying, oh, this is a lady problem. It is.
Vaginas are disgusting.
But gay sex is also disgusting. So who are you supposed to fuck? This is why they're like, also no bestiality. They're like, who now? God.
That's why they make dolls now.
Okay. All right. So the military apparatus does care. Soldiers and sailors might not, but the military people do.
Okay.
Because Congress says that they should care, so the military cares.
Okay.
Quote, the number of undesirable discharges for gay sailors during the years of the Korean conflict were 483 in 1950 and 533 in 1951. Undesirable is that other than honorable or the blue discharge.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
so those discharges were less than half of the number the year after the armistice was signed, which was 1,353. So during the time of war, 483, 533. Like, that's how many people were discharged. After they ended the war, over 1,300 people were discharged.
Okay.
Because they weren't needed anymore. And that number would not fall below 500 a year again until 1970, when the Vietnam War was really getting ramped up.
Okay.
So they would continue any
so they would
queer service member.
Yes. Unless they needed them.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless it was beneficial. So.
Yeah.
But here's some slightly good news.
Okay.
In 1957, after the height. What?
You know what 1957 was?
Tim's birth year. Happy birthday, Timothy. After the height of the insanity of the Lavender Scare and McCarthyism, Captain S.H. Crittenden, chair of a U.S. Navy Board of Inquiry, that issues a report concluding, quote, there is no sound basis for the belief that homosexuals posed a security risk. Because it was called the Crittenden Report. You can look it up. It goes into great detail. But he was like, actually, gay people are fine. But they also just go, we don't really like that answer, though. So despite all of the evidence. Anyways.
It doesn't go with what we think.
No. And there's another rainbow amongst the storm. In 1950, a group of 5 men came together to form a secret group called the Fifth Order, which would ultimately become a large-scale queer organization called the Mattachine Society. Their goal...
Fancy.
Huh?
That's a fancy name.
I know.
Yeah.
Their goal was to unify homosexuals and to erase from our law books the discriminatory and oppressive legislation written against them. Although conservative leaders started to take over on the West Coast of the Mattachine Society in the early 1960s, a U.S. Army veteran, Frank Kameny, founded the Mattachine Society of, and I hope I'm saying that right, I have no idea, Mattachine? Anyways, of Washington, D.C., and they characterized themselves within the movement as an activist militant organization, sharing the importance of active civil engagement and protesting.
Okay.
Frank Kameny comes up a whole bunch of times from here on out. He was like really a big proponent and active guy in civil rights for queer folk, especially veterans, because he was a queer veteran. He was given one of those lovely blue discharges, and so he was barred from any of the benefits from getting work after risking his life to serve his country. And he stated that he was fucking over it. This is beautiful. By that time, I had decided that basically what this amounted to was a declaration of war against me by my government. A, I don't grant my government the right to declare war against me. And B, I tend not to lose my wars.
Good for him.
Snaps for Frank.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what, you want to fight, bitch? Try me. I don't lose. Eek! Okay.
Look at my military history.
Yeah. Okay, Frank, you're scary.
I love it.
There's also a lesbian organization at the time called the Daughters of Bilitis. They were equally politically engaged and often had veterans among their ranks as well. Couldn't find a whole bunch on this, like, super readily. But it was founded as a private social club for lesbians by working women of color. They had a publication called The Ladder, and you can still find that online. It was a magazine that talked about how to protect yourself and how to stand up to injustice.
Nice. I love it.
And I think the Mattachine Society, they also had a magazine called One, I think it was.
Okay.
Either way, you can find both of those publications still online.
Okay.
Even though the wildfire, the Lavender Scare, is technically over by the 60s, both the Mattachine Society and the Daughters of Bilitis, as well as many other queer societies, keep up the fight for equality in the civilian sector.
Good.
It was illegal to sell queer folk alcohol, so lots of bars were raided. And in all states besides Illinois at this time, homosexuality was still punishable by law with hard labor and anywhere from a few years to life in prison. Illinois was the only one in the 60s that was like, nah, not for us anymore. A lot of it kind of snowballed and in the 70s, but yeah, at this point everyone was
just over it.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I wasn't even alive.
I put fun fact initially, and then I erased the fun part and just put fact. This is a fact you need to know.
Okay.
Federal law finally changed. Federal law, so nationally, with Lawrence v. Texas in 2003, in which the Supreme Court ruled that intimate consensual sexual conduct is protected under the 14th Amendment, overturning the 1986 Bowers versus Hardwick decision and rendering remaining state sodomy laws unconstitutional. So until 2003, any remaining sodomy laws were still constitutional.
That's crazy. I was 13.
As I'm doing these notes, and I like, because Tim's there, right, hanging out. But as I'm writing these notes, it's like, yeah, this is how hard it was the entire time I was alive.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I was facing the entire fucking time. And every single step of the way, I'm like, how hopeless this must have felt. Like, not only for all of the family bullshit, for him specifically, but like, just as a queer person in America.
Trying to be himself.
Just, yeah. And I mean, like, we can get it and we can talk about it on this level of like understanding that it is hard for people and empathy, but like also like, God, I can't imagine having to go through that.
Yeah. Like,
and I feel very fortunate that I don't. And I also feel like it's like part of my duty as someone who doesn't to amplify those voices and say, hey, listen up, bitches. Like,
yeah.
Just because it's not happening to me doesn't mean it's not fucking important.
No, it's insane because, like, I mean, watching him, because he came out to me, I think I was like 8 or 9. And I actually remember the exact moment it happened because, you know, society as a whole is like, oh, gay, that's gross, whatever, that's bad.
Gay was like, it meant that something sucked.
Yeah.
When we were growing up.
Exactly. So, like, I specifically remember this. We were at his condo in Phoenix and we were sitting on like the bottom steps and he came out to me and I just literally, I looked at him and I was like, ew, gross. Because I was like 8 and I didn't fully understand like what was happening.
Yeah. It was still, I mean, it still is, but like it was really still heavily stigmatized when we were
exactly.
Kids. Yeah.
But like now, like looking back, obviously I'm like, okay, society was telling me that that's not cool.
Yeah.
And like, I remember having a conversation with my mom about it as well because he had a conversation with her first. He was like, hey, I need to tell Sarah, like, I can't keep this on my chest anymore. And it also didn't really help the fact that like he had a boyfriend and he was also bar hopping at the time. And I was like, who are these random
You're
dudes?
gonna have questions.
Yeah, I had a lot of questions. So like he told me, but I mean, obviously I accept it and I love him for who he is, but like just watching him go through it from the age of 8 or 9 to 17 was fucking ridiculous. Like, I have trauma for him because of like what I witnessed and like how hard it was for him to like be a person.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think like even in like the early 2000s, it was still such a stigma to be gay. It's fucking crazy.
That's weird. He hasn't chimed in this whole time. I turned it back on. We started recording again. Yeah, he hasn't chimed in again. It's interesting.
Maybe he wants to hear my side of it.
Maybe he's shutting the fuck up for once.
Be quiet, bitch. Yeah, no, like I literally watched him. I was like, he was in and out of different psychiatric like places. He was on and off different medications. He just never felt accepted or wanted, or he was just confused. And I'm like, dude, like, fuck that, man. Like, huh?
He's here.
Oh, good.
He's just letting us know that he might be quiet, but he's still here. So he's around.
Like, I can't, I mean, like, I believe that I am bisexual, you know, but I am never going to understand how difficult it is for a queer person like that.
Totally.
And that was his biggest fear for me. Like, I remember him literally telling me when I was younger, he was like,
how do you feel?
I'm fine, thank you.
She's telling us.
He literally told me that his biggest fear was that I was going to be that I was a lesbian. And I was like, why? And he's like, because of everything that I've gone through.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Like the more and more like research that I did, like, man, I don't know, I think I just like I put it more into perspective, like as like we continued to go through like these notes and stuff. I was like, where does this end? And I was like I was like, it doesn't. It hasn't.
It's
like
continuously.
Yeah, I get a little bit more into like the modern stuff later, but like I was like it just isn't.
Yeah.
It hasn't ended. Okay. So
sorry to trauma dump and tell you guys about my childhood, but
it
seemed relevant.
And I was like, it's relevant, okay. This is who we're talking about. We're talking about Tim. Okay, so where am I here? Right. The Mattachine Society and the Daughters of Bilitis are working for equality and civil rights. And that brings us into the Vietnam War era. The U.S. is directly involved, like troops on the ground from 1965 to 1973, when the last troops are flown out. I could do a lot on the Vietnam War. It is so much longer than that. So, although this is still the Cold War era, and only a short time after the Red Scare and McCarthy's lunacy, there's also a large counterculture that is emerging, and it inspires young people to question political conservatism and if this conflict is really worth their lives. So,
looking for me?
No.
Yes, we were, but not.
What?
I want it. Attention. Shush.
All right, Gemini, calm down.
I'm back. Thank you. So anti-war groups and underground publications gave the advice to young men who wanted to avoid the draft to be hoaxosexual or fake gay.
Oh, I don't like that.
Just like, do not. Do not. Which is kind of bullshit because a lot of these movements initially and vehemently barred LGBTQ folks from participating.
Yeah, like you're just taking advantage of an already like marginalized group. Or wait, that's not the right word. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm not very smart, guys. I'm sorry.
So just like in World War II, that only works sometimes because they need what they need are bodies, and you can't turn away every single man who says he's gay.
It's the Vietnam War.
One guy was asked if he liked girls, and he said, "Yeah, I work." Okay. And he was like, "Yeah, I did, but now I like boys." And the sergeant who's interviewing him was like, "Good, there will be plenty where you're going." Stamp. I have to go, and he's like, "Fuck!"
I love it.
But there was another soldier who was actually gay, and the military was like, "Yeah, that works for us. Just do your goddamn job." That is until he was other than honorably discharged in 1981.
Because he was gay.
Because he was gay. So, but he was able to overturn the ruling because he was like, "Y'all knew that I was gay the entire time. I did not keep this a secret. You knew. Fuck your discharge."
Oh,
and
I would take that to...
Yeah, it was overturned.
Oh,
it was
good.
overturned.
Okay.
He got an honorable discharge.
Good.
Because he was like, "I didn't have a single fucking stain on my record. You knew that I was gay. This other than honorably thing is fucking bullshit."
And it's the 80s. Like, get it together.
And so he, like, lost his shit, and they were like, "Okay, fine." So, in 1969, the Stonewall riot occurs. And out of it comes the Gay Liberation Front, or the GLF. That, quote, quickly joined other leftist groups in fighting for rights, advocating for an egalitarian society, and opposing the war. So, me. Oddly enough, there had been some discussion about trying to get the military to lift the ban on homosexuality from the mid-60s to the early 70s.
Okay.
But as the Vietnam War was wildly unpopular, the goal fell to the wayside, and groups started demanding honorable discharges. And suggesting that queer folk refused to fight. So they were going to say, "Hey, let us join and stop this ban." But then they were like, "We don't want to fucking go to Vietnam."
No.
So they switched gears. Instead of lift the ban, they said, "Fuck your war. We don't want to go." And if we do have to go, give us honorable discharges.
Yeah, because we're literally doing what you're asking us to do. Like, there's not a stain on our record. We're not going AWOL. We're not murdering like people that we're fighting with. Like, why the fuck would we get anything other than an honorable discharge.
Exactly. So that's why they changed tactics.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck it, you know what? Keep the ban. Keep us out then. We don't want to go.
Yeah.
Just because the military needed people, though, it did not stop them from their anti-homosexual bullshit. A Navy nurse stationed stateside. This is back off. Yeah, back off.
Fuck you.
A Navy nurse stationed stateside was brought in by NIS, the Naval Investigative. Wow, why I'm blanking on the S situation, whatever. Because she had been seen at a party drinking and put her hand in another lady's pantaloons.
Did they say pantaloons or did you just
They
say
said
that?
pants. I said pantaloons. Because it sounds just as ridiculous as the situation.
Yes.
At this point in her life, though, she hadn't even kissed another woman yet and hadn't even come out to herself.
I kissed a girl
And I liked it.
Sorry.
Yeah. But she hadn't even kissed a girl, so she didn't know if she liked it yet. So, let's see. This is what she has to say about her interrogation. Read page 122. Okay.
Okay. Don't hate me.
What are you going to do? God fucking damn it. Oh, here we go. Good for me. We're just waiting for Sarah. Because she got us alcohol. And alcohol makes us pee because we're old. I still won't look at the camera because it freaks me out. I'll get used to it. Fran, I don't want to look at you.
I had a coffee today, and now I'm drinking, okay?
Don't worry, I told them that.
I'm in my 30s.
I literally said that. I was like, Sarah got us alcohol. We're in our 30s. She can't hold it anymore.
No, I can't.
Okay, so, as I was saying, the Navy nurse who put her hand in another lady's pantaloons. She was like, I haven't even kissed a girl, and I don't know if I like it yet. And so this is what she has to say about her interrogation.
Okay.
Prepare to be disturbed. So NIS just kept on and on and on. I remember I was thirsty and they didn't give me anything to drink. They had me under these lights and I was pretty freaked out. I mean, I was really upset about it. They said, you seem nervous. If you weren't guilty, you wouldn't be nervous. I said, well, anyone being accused of something that could lead to being put out of the military on a dishonorable discharge would be nervous.
Yeah, and I'm being denied basic human rights.
Mm-hmm.
And you have me under these hot lights.
I could see myself losing all of my benefits. I had been there for 2 years, taking care of guys coming back from war. I would have lost all of that, plus my family would have been horrified. They wanted me to sign a confession, and I kept saying, I can't sign a confession. I'm not guilty. I haven't done anything except party with these people. Anyway, I wouldn't sign their confession. I held out and didn't sign it.
Good.
After that, though, she says, I was very traumatized and very paranoid. It really changed me a lot. I no longer went out and partied. I stayed home and I would stay at home and drink. I was just a loner, very isolated then. I just decided to do my time and get out.
Sucks.
I know. It's really unfortunate. And this is not the first story in from these interviews I read in Ask and Tell that talked about problems with alcohol after leaving the service.
We're not pointing at the beer, we're pointing at the...
Not us. We haven't been in the service. We just have a problem.
We do have a problem. We're millennials, okay? Leave us alone.
So, after her horrible experience, she obviously had a hard time trusting anyone and became very anti-war. When she got out of the military, though, she's like, guess I better figure out if I'm a lesbian, and started dating a woman she met at work.
Was she a lesbian?
Yep.
Oh, good for her.
Happy ending.
There you go.
Yeah, she was like, I read this thing in Cosmo about ladies being bisexuals, and the lady was like, can I come over and read it? And then they started dating.
Oh, cute.
She's like, let me read that.
I love
Just
it.
kidding. Let's test it out. I'm going to talk about one more gay man in the military, Leonard Matlovich. Have you ever heard that name?
No.
Okay. I hadn't either, but he was like a super famous gay person in the 80s because he was an Air Force Vietnam veteran, a race relations instructor, and a recipient of the Purple Heart and Bronze Star.
Oh, nice.
He was also the first gay service member to intentionally out themselves to the military to fight the ban on queer people.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So people lost their shit over this.
Yeah.
TV, magazines, everyone went nuts. He was on the cover of Time.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to look him up. What is it? Leonard what?
Matlovich.
Okay. Continue.
In 1974, he became aware of our friend, Frank Kameny, the Mattachine Society, Washington, D.C. dude. He reached out to Frank, who was super stoked because he was like, he has an immaculate record. We're going to, like, if he's willing to, we're going to fight this band because it's clearly fucking stupid. This guy has a great record. And
he's cute.
The only thing he is gay. So in March 1975, he slaps a letter on the desk of his commanding officers like, I'm gay, bitch. And now he has a discharge hearing. The Air Force had a fairly ill-defined exception clause that could allow gay people to continue to serve if there were extenuating circumstances. These circumstances might include being immature or drunk, exemplary service, or a one-time experimentation, sarcastically known as the queer for a day rule.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, queen for a day rule.
I like either one.
Either way, it's just for a day. It's a day pass. The Air Force says, quote, just promise not to be gay anymore and then you can stay in the Air Force. And he says, no. No thanks, I'm going to be gay. And then he is honorably discharged.
Good.
Which I think is interesting because I think that this became such a spectacle that they really didn't have another choice.
No.
But he sues for reinstatement. It was bounced around for years. So from 1975 until 1980, when the Air Force said, no, he can't come back, but we'll pay him $160,000. And he was like, okay. So he took it. He honestly felt that even if he did continue, push and go back, that they would find a way to discharge him again. So he was like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
In 1985, though, he came back into the public eye because he became heavily involved again in the fight for adequate HIV and AIDS education and treatment. This was part of the AIDS epidemic. During this epidemic, the military implemented mandatory screening for recruits and service members. It was an absolute bar for recruits to enter, and existing service members, if tested positive, would be discharged. As of 2021, this has not changed. So if you tested positive for HIV, you would be discharged. At the time, because HIV would always devolve into AIDS and there wasn't a treatment.
Correct.
So they were like, you're going to keep getting sicker and we're not going to be able to do anything about it. So they discharged him before they became a military problem, quote unquote.
Right.
Nowadays, we have treatment for HIV.
Yeah, people can go undetectable for years.
Yeah, and there are treatments and ways to prevent it. And so it's not actually like a death sentence anymore. It used to be absolutely a death sentence. And
it's just another way to demonize gay people.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous because there are so many straight people. Who the fuck were we talking about last time? That guy, Roy.
Oh, Roy Cohn.
Yeah.
But he was gay.
Oh, he was gay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
Which is, sorry, I guess I should have said that. Roy Cohn, who perpetrated the lavender scare against gay people, who helped Trump in 1971 go around the Fair Housing Act, Reagan's little fucking friend, had AIDS because he was gay. He was just
Did he just hate himself so much?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Yeah.
It's all clicking.
Sorry, I did not make that clear. He was also gay.
I thought he just... Okay.
And he actually got special treatment from the Reagans. He was like, help, please. I have AIDS.
Dying.
And they were like, oh, you poor baby. And so they sent him to places to get AIDS treatment. However, the Reagans also had a conservative gay actor friend who I can't remember what the fuck his name was. But he was living in France at the time and he found out that he had AIDS. And he was like, guys, could you please help me? And they're like, no, you're just going to die.
I just don't understand
how.
I'm not a very political person. I know that I lean a specific way, and I'm sure just by looking at me, you guys can guess which way I lean. Excuse me, potential spam. Fuck right off. But I just don't understand how you can be an openly gay person and still support some of these conservatives. You know what I mean?
He was not openly gay.
He wasn't. Okay.
No, I mean, enough that I think that some of these people, I think the Reagans knew, right? McCarthy might not have known, but the Reagans certainly did.
Right.
But why would you be willing to hurt people of your own community?
Yes.
Because it postpones, it never prevents, but it postpones your own injury. It's just like in like the most well-known discrimination is the Holocaust, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were Jewish people who assisted the Nazis because it gave them favor, and it postponed their own suffering. It never prevents it. Roy died of AIDS. It didn't prevent his suffering, but it postponed it through what were really hard years, and he was okay for those times where he could have maybe not been.
Right. I don't know. It's just crazy.
It is weird.
Like I said before, like I will never truly understand the hardship of a lot of queer people. I mean, like, yes, I am bisexual, but I come off as very straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we have male partners. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like we're just never. I mean, maybe someday. I have told Joey before that, like, when he dies, or if we like get divorced,
when you die,
or if we get divorced or something
in 5 years in a horrible boating accident. I mean,
didn't hear it from me. Yeah, I was like, you're probably the last dude that I'm ever gonna be with.
God, right? Like, I do not want to.
I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah, exactly.
Such a problem.
Yeah.
And then your dad chimed in. I said, I think this is when Tim was serving too, right? Like, I was just gonna like put this in there, and then he goes serving looks, bitchin'. Yeah, he had to chime in. Now, don't ask, don't tell. The military's policy for LGBTQ people from 1993 to 2000. Actually, I said 10, but it's really finally was done in 2011.
Isn't that crazy? I feel like Don't Ask, Don't Tell is like so much older.
That's what I mean. Like, that's like when I was researching, I was like, God, this was really like not that fucking long ago. Like, it feels like it was, but it's not. It's just kind of like how your textbooks use black and white photos of the civil rights movement to make you think that it happened forever ago, but actually it really wasn't. Ruby Bridges is alive and her grandma.
Is alive. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't ask, don't tell. 1992, the presidential candidate, Bill Clinton, was asked if he believed queer people could serve in the military, to which he said, yes, I support the repeal of the ban on gays and lesbians serving in the United States. I did not have
sexual relations with that woman.
Correct. I play the saxophone. Then he became president, and he went to the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the Armed Forces, and they basically told him to get fucked. They were not on board with him lifting the ban because they had banned it at this point. And I don't know if I feel like that was like made pretty clear by the fact that they were like, get out. But just in case you didn't catch that, they banned homosexuality
after the Vietnam
from World War II. So all of those things that went into place about the psychological screening, the undesirable discharge, all of that started in World War II. And it's carried through as a ban on homosexuality.
Okay.
They were able to broaden it from just sodomy, which is the sex act, to being a homosexual. So if someone was like, I think I like boys, they're like, kick them out. Mm-hmm. As opposed, like, before, you'd be like, I think I like boys. They're like, but I haven't caught you doing a dude, though, so it's totally fine. But now it's like, everyone could be gay, and they are, and they kicked everyone out. So the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the Armed Forces were like, no. And he was like, but guys, the military could have saved $500 million in the past decade alone if it had investigated and discharged 17,000 gay service personnel. What a waste of taxpayer. Conservatives are supposed to also be fiscally conservative, and I'm just saying that $500 million on checking out gay dudes' history is a waste of taxpayer money. So, and Colin Powell was also like, no.
Oh my God, I forgot about him.
Right? He's back. Colin Powell was like, no, because they're not disciplined. What about military discipline and state secrets and blah, 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 blah. He wasn't necessarily wrong about saying that discipline might decay because, but it wasn't because gay people were going to be ill-mannered. It was because of homophobic people.
Yes.
Here's a huge trigger warning. We're going to go into some really ugly shit.
Oh, fuck.
As the debate on lifting the ban of homosexuals in the military was heating up in Washington, so were tempers in the armed forces. In October 1993, 3 Marines in North Carolina were arrested for assaulting a man leaving a gay bar. The year before, though, before this was an argument, there was a worse incident on a U.S. naval base in Japan. And this is the murder of Alan Schindler.
This sounds familiar.
In October 1992, Schindler had informed his superior officers that he was gay and was in the process of being discharged.
Okay.
He may have decided to tell them because of the harassment he was facing by fellow sailors who made life a living hell for anyone they even suspected of being gay on his ship.
Gross.
Right. After his discharge, Schindler was followed to a public park by 2 sailors who had beaten him so severely the Navy could only identify him by his tattoos.
What are you homophobes so afraid of? Accepting the
truth? He's walking in the park. Leave him the fuck alone. He's in the park. What does this have to do with you? Like, if he was they're so insecure in their own sexuality that they are threatened by the fact that this man
is just gay.
Is gay, yeah.
Like, if he was like actively stabbing you and like raping you at the same time, sure, go ahead, murder that dude.
Yeah, but that's just a criminal activity.
Exactly.
That has nothing to do with his sexuality. That's a crime.
Yeah.
That's a crime, babe. It's just like fucking murdering this guy.
Like, this man is just walking home.
One of the murderers, Terry Helvey, told investigators that he was, quote, disgusted by homosexuals and stated he would do it again if he identified another gay shipmate.
Cool. Have fun in prison, bitch.
Yes, he was sentenced to life in prison.
Like,
the debate continues in Congress as to lift the ban or not. Schindler's murder seemed to prove that hostility toward openly gay troops would destroy unit cohesion.
No.
Because...
hostility. Yes.
Hostility towards them.
Yes. Okay, yes.
Yeah, not that gay people are like, ha, I'm gay. Bah! But like that people, they'd be like, oh, thank God, I can tell you I'm gay. And then people would...
be so afraid.
that they disfigured a man.
Ugh.
I cried writing this. I'm really glad that I'm keeping it together. It was a really hard night. But I'm just going to say this. As the assailant was a straight man, maybe it's like a heterosexual problem. Maybe you should keep your heterosexuality quiet. You know, like,
isn't that crazy?
Like,
though?
are you a violent heterosexual? Because like,
I need to know.
I need to know if you're heterosexual because they are prone to violence.
It's just crazy to me that like hetero people don't have to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should. I think like when you're of age to figure out your sexuality, you should be like, hey, just so everyone knows, I'm straight.
And then I cry. It's like, God, this is not the life I wanted for my children.
Disowning you.
How dare you? Okay, so could homophobia be compared to racial bigotry? Because this was an argument at the time.
Yes.
A lot of people were, there were a lot of people who were upset by the fact that this comparison was being made for civil rights. Or like, this is not a civil rights issue. Like, to think that Colin Powell is one of these people.
Who said that?
Colin Powell. So hang on, I'll get into it. So here's the $1 million question. Could homophobia be compared to racial bigotry? What's a phobia? An exaggerated, usually inexplicable, and illogical fear of a particular object, class of objects, or situation. Gays. Ah! A bigot is a person who is intolerant or hateful towards people whose race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, etc., is different from the person's own.
Mm-hmm.
So it is bigotry.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. So some Black service members thought that it was a civil rights issue, but many others disagreed. Top among them was Colin Powell. So, in an interview, he stated, quote, skin color is a benign, non-behavioral characteristic. Sexual orientation is perhaps the most profound of behavioral characteristics. Comparison of the two is a convenient but invalid argument.
Is he from Arizona? Why did they make such a big deal about him? I feel like they made a very big deal of him when we were younger.
He was the first African-American Joint Chiefs of Staff, major military general guy. He was the first African-American general of some sort.
Okay.
Again, I am not well-versed in the military. He's the first of a very big name.
Yeah.
So that's big. But
okay.
There was another service member who disagreed. A Master Chief of the U.S. Coast Guard, Vincent Patton, was assigned to research the parallels between President Truman's desegregation executive order and what Clinton wanted to do, and he saw no difference between the two. Vince Patton was also, I don't remember if I just said this. You should not have given me alcohol. He was the first Black Master Chief of the U.S. Coast Guard. So Master Chief is like another super high ranking. Yeah, and he was the first African American to hold that position.
Okay.
So those are two different positions. And some people agreed one way, some people agreed the other way.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton took into account the congressional and the Joint Chief of Staff opinions and citizen opinions. In a 1993 poll, 48% of the American public opposed lifting the ban versus 42% who wanted it to be lifted. In the end, Clinton deferred to Congress and ultimately supported Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Don't ask means that the State Department will stop requiring recruits to discuss their sexuality, and there would be no further investigations of subordinates.
Okay.
Don't tell means that military personnel were forbidden to perform homosexual acts or state they were queer.
Okay.
Regardless of this, investigations continued, and if any personnel were caught in a relationship with the same-sex partner or admitted to being queer, they were discharged. So not a lot changed. Clinton said, it's not a perfect solution, and later described it as a political defeat. Not perfect indeed. Here's another fucking trigger warning.
Okay.
In July 1999, Army Private First Class Barry Winchell was murdered while he slept by a fellow soldier, Calvin Glover, who was spurred on by Justin Fisher, another. Winchell had met a trans woman named Calpurnia, fucking lovely, Adams, when he was at a nightclub with Fisher. So Justin Fisher, one of the perpetrators of this crime, went to a nightclub with Winchell, who frequently had trans performers. Winchell ends up liking and dating one of the performers, and Fisher's like, ah! And he's so...
Let me guess, this person hadn't transitioned all the way yet.
Not sure.
Okay.
But Fisher begins to spread rumors about Winchell and Adams' relationship, and Winchell becomes the target of harassment broadly. Surprise, surprise, his superiors do nothing about this harassment. 2 days before the murder, Winchell and Glover got into a fight, like a fist fight, in which Glover lost. Fisher harassed him, Glover, about being beaten by a fucking F-slur.
Gross.
And continued to goad him until Glover got a bat and bludgeoned Winchell to death.
That's a rational reaction. What the fuck?
So.
I don't understand. Like, I just don't. Why are you so hateful?
I don't know. I don't, like I said, it was a very upsetting night. Having to,
what night was this?
Last night.
Is that why you didn't respond to me?
Yeah, I was really busy working. Like I said, this has been like a long time working. A, because baby.
She has a problem, yeah.
She's a fucking problem.
She's ruining the vibe.
She's throwing off our groove. She really is. That's okay. We love her. She's just also like really fucking needy. So it's been a while. And like I said, there's this mass amount of information that I want to do justice to.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, how do I cover this with enough detail and also keep it within like a reasonable amount of time, not 12 fucking parts. So back to it. Still, even after that murder, it would be another 12 years before the repeal was able to take place. Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a talking point in the 2000s election because of this fucking murder. Al Gore endorsed the repeal, saying that support for Don't Ask, Don't Tell would be a litmus test of sorts for Joint Chiefs of Staff candidates. A litmus test is like a pass-fail test, basically.
Okay.
So if they were like, we think we should take it down, he's like, you're a Joint Chief of Staff. It's a way to do it. But the Democratic Party platform that year was silent on the issue. The Republican platform was that homosexuality is incompatible with military service. They're sticking to it.
I roll. Okay.
In July 2004, the American Psychological Association issued a statement that Don't Ask, Don't Tell, quote, discriminates on the basis of sexual orientation and that empirical evidence fails to show that sexual orientation is germane to any aspect of military effectiveness, including unit cohesion, morale, recruitment, and retention. That election year, 2004, both parties maintained their 2000 stance. Democrats say nothing, Republicans say no gays in the military, loudly. In 2005, a cost analysis was done. And I love cost analysis. At least $95.4 million in recruiting costs and at least $95.1 million for training replacements for the almost 10,000 troops that were discharged from 1994 through 2003 that was all lost, while the true figure actually might be higher. So it's just like when you have to hire new personnel, you have to invest all this time in training. It's better to retain who you have than hire new people.
Right.
It just costs the military millions of dollars to do that because they're like, no, gay. In November 2007, 28 retired generals and admirals urged Congress to repeal the policy, citing evidence that 65,000 gay men and women were serving in the armed forces and that there were over 1 million gay veterans. Both sides have people saying they support it. Colin Powell changes his tune because time has passed and now is a better time.
Sorry, gay veteran.
Sorry, veteran. Yep.
Also, sidebar, 2007 is the year he died, so.
And it still wasn't done yet.
Nope.
I just, like, and this also, like, this part was also really hard for me because I was, like, going through this and I'm like, oh, just a little longer. Like, that's all I could keep thinking in my head was just a little more time.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And there's just, like,
I will throw this can at your face
I'm
if you
so
start.
sorry. I am so sorry. I'm gonna stop talking about it.
It's okay.
I am
it's okay.
crying.
It's okay. Just so everyone knows, I am very uncomfortable with emotions. Because trauma. You got this. Deep breath. You got this.
So let me tell a story that was like kind of related. So throughout my youth and like teen years, like I was extremely suicidal. And there was a song by Good Charlotte that was called Hold On.
Yes.
And that would get me through so much stuff. And I just keep like, hold on. And like, I kept, as I was like going through this stuff and I was thinking about your dad, I was like, oh, if only you held on like just a little long, like, but it, with this entire history, how are you supposed to know?
Yeah, when it's
that
going to end.
Literally anything is going to be any different. Like it feels endless. And it was just really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
To go through this and to think about like your dad is just one of the, you know, millions of people who are dealing with this. Okay, so
sidebar also, just so everyone knows, my dad and Kelsey are very close.
We talk a lot.
He if I'm not listening, he'll go yell at her.
Yeah.
So just so everyone knows. Also, they never met in real life.
No. I never met him while he was Earthside.
Yeah.
So Colin Powell changes his tune because people are allowed to change their mind.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard for like politicians, especially because they're like, well, in this time you said that this, and it's like, yeah, okay, well, like I learned. He learned.
Yeah.
A 2010 poll was done of active military personnel. Overall, in response to a variety of questions, 50 to 55% of the force indicated that a repeal will have mixed or no effect. About 15 to 20% believe that the repeal would have a positive effect, and another 30% believe that it would have a negative effect.
Okay.
What I think is important in these polls specifically is like, will it have an effect? Like, will it be a positive effect? Maybe, but like also like the best thing that could possibly happen is like literally nothing fucking changes. And 50 to 55% of military personnel were like, I don't think anything's gonna fucking change. Whether or not they are or aren't, so fucking what? Because the job gets done.
They're here, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that like you have to add that to like the positive effect people, because it's like, what worst case scenario? Nothing fucking changes. 30% were like, it's gonna be bad, but fuck them. Anyways, there's a lot of congressional stuff that happens, lobbing it back and forth. How can we get this thing repealed? It's a lot that you don't need to know. What you do need to know is that President Barack Obama signed the repeal of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell into law in December 2010. I'm sure you can guess, based on the literal everything I've talked about, that there was strong opposition to the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And because it's still a fucking problem today. It was only 16 years ago. So there was absolutely a backlash. And people are like, does this chaplain have to perform gay weddings now? If he wants to.
He can say no if he wants.
Doesn't have to. But anyways, we're just going to be
calm down,
uppity about it. So here's the good stuff. because I want to talk about some positives. A bunch of queer service members are now allowed to live their lives openly.
Woot!
Just one day after the repeal, Randy Phillips posts his coming out video on YouTube where he calls his dad and tells him he's gay.
Woot!
And his dad's like, we love you, and everything's good. Gary C. Ross marries his partner of 11 years, Dan Swezzy, making them the first same-sex military couple to legally marry in the U.S.
Cute.
It's really cute. On December 2nd, Ginger Wallace becomes the first openly lesbian, any LGBTQ plus service member to have her partner participate in the pinning on promotion ceremony. So her partner gets to give her little promotion. Widespread news coverage continued even months after the repeal date when a photograph of Marine Sergeant Brandon Morgan kissing his partner at a February 22nd, 2012 homecoming celebration. I think it's the one where he's jumped up on his partner, like holding him and kissing him.
Yeah,
like the typical welcome home.
Yeah.
It's just like the typical homecoming photo. So cute. In July 2012, the Department of Defense grants permission for service members to wear their uniform at Pride events.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
In 2021, President Joe Biden announces that VA benefits would be available to other than honorable discharge recipients.
Oh, nice.
So even if we aren't able to reverse all of it, it doesn't matter because you get your benefits now.
So, okay. So because do they still do other than honorable? Okay, never mind. I thought this was going back to the 60s and 70s.
It includes them too.
Oh, okay,
anyone who has had an other than honorable discharge gets this.
Good. Okay.
And in 2024, almost all of the 13,500 people with dishonorable discharges under Don't Ask, Don't Tell have now been switched to honorable discharges.
Good.
When they get VA benefits.
Good.
And now us here today have to make sure that we stay vigilant to keep the rights of our fellow citizens. Pete Hegseth is the current Secretary of Defense, and he has stated many times that he is done with, quote, woke military.
What does that even mean?
It means that people of color and of different sexual orientations are able to be promoted and join the military.
I love it here.
He is attempting to go back to prior to Don't Ask, Don't Tell with the discharge of queer military personnel and the prohibition of further queer people entering the military. He has actually fired a number of top generals because they either represent groups he identifies as DEI hires or they support equality. It has been done already. He's done that. They're fired. He's also trying to rename the U.S. naval ship Harvey Milk to something else because he is somehow offended that it is named after a gay man who served his country. His argument is that Harvey Milk was given an other than honorable discharge. Because of his sexual orientation, not because he actually had an immaculate record in the military, but he was discharged because he was gay. But Hegseth is trying to say that means he shouldn't have a ship named after him because it was not an honorable discharge.
Sounds like he's jealous.
He can't even do a pull-up.
I mean, I can't either, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, but I'm also not out here pretending like I'm some sort of
It did it again!
Fucking what? What?
The screen did a fucking thumbs down.
Okay. God damn.
Sorry. I shouldn't have given myself alcohol.
Give me a heart attack. Okay, so
we need a little bit of brevity right now, okay? You're welcome.
So it's a fucking problem, and we need to remain as vigilant as we possibly can so that we don't go back into the dark ages any further than we already are.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder to everybody, your small town and midterm elections are super duper important, and they possibly count even more than these big elections do. Go out and vote. Even if it's that's just city council, that all builds up. Those are important things, which reminds me, we need to go vote. Before next week. I think official voting is June 4th. But you can go early vote now, just by the way.
Anywho,
so that's as up to date as I can get for right now because I got up to present. So I know I left a lot out. I'm sure if any listeners have a deep knowledge of some of this stuff, you've noticed that I've lost some things. But I hope it feels as though I've put in the effort to tell a well-rounded story. I've been stressing out about it.
For months.
For months.
Yeah.
Not only trying to like deal with the baby, but trying to make sure I tell a really good story. And leaving stuff behind has been really hard.
I mean, like if people are interested, I mean, I'm sure they could like ask for specific, like, hey, can you go into more detail about this or, whatever else. So
yeah. And if you have any insight, please send me an email.
Mm-hmm.
That's the macaroni podcast at gmail.com. Again, that's the macaroni podcast at gmail.com. Please tell me stories, put your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you want to hear more about something.
If you want to give Tim a shout out, he would
say hi, Tim.
He would die all over again. Listen.
Okay, so remember to follow us on Instagram. Send us your stories and suggestions. Comment, subscribe, rate, review, follow.
Start a like discussion on our Facebook too. Like I'm actually really curious about it. So.
Yeah. Get in on it. Comment, all that kind of shit. Whatever platform that you're listening, viewing us on, whatever they have you do it. Because we really want to hear about it. Positive things only. Just kidding. Just don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick about it.
Okay. That's all I think, right?
I think so.
Okay. Well, Timothy, I hope that you are happy with your episode today.
Yeah, this was all his idea. He ambushed Kelsey like a year ago and was like, hey, do an episode on me.
For Pride Month, do it on me.
Yeah. And his picture won't always be right here.
It's normally really important.
It's normally right here where my Freddy Krueger Baphomet is. He just needed to be the center of attention. So
yes, he was very excited for this episode because it was for him. So
he's a diva.
I'm gonna close the computer on this one. This one is done.
And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna do a couple of, I haven't decided yet, 1 or 2 super influential gay people. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. But anywho, bye guys.
Au revoir. Excuse me. Anyways,
crying.